I don't know if the fans know a lot about Yan, but she's a beast. She's a heck of a good fighter. What do you have to watch out for? How do you prepare for her, and what is she good at?
It's funny because it's like I always got frustrated, with the people I fight because I thought like, man, when you go back and think like Ronda Rousey, the girls would just come at her, and then she could just like judo takedown and armbar fast. I think people didn't respect too much judo background, like judo, it wasn't jiu-jitsu, since UFC one with Royce Gracie, it was always like respected, that's like, okay, so I came into the UFC with like, okay, multiple time world champion. So everyone I fought was basically like, I take one step forward and they take 10 steps back. You know what I mean? I'd never had that engagement so easily like Ronda did, in the beginning of her career. Of course, after people realized she was just taking down, then we saw like Holly Holm and stuff like playing more what the girls play with me, like hit and move, hit and move.
Right.
And I always said like, man, it's like for me, I need to go into the firing range, to take down, to do what I need to do, So I put myself there. I could get knocked out, that's not my strength, the striking. But I put me there. So I was thought like, man, I thought that the strikers, they would kind of want to put the pressure on me, and make me not want to be there, like, oh yeah, you're a grappler. Let me lay some hands on you, and
Yeah.
show you what it's like to be with a strike, like confident in their striking.
Right.
And that's something that I see with Jan. Of course, I understand why the smart, strategic fighters, they play more on the safe side, like on more points, but because also when you get close, you risk getting taken down,
Right.
But that's something that I see with Yan is that she goes forward and she has high volume and she has good technique and puts in the right spot. So it's like her hands are heavy, So
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, oh man, I'm kind of getting what I had like asked for a little bit, like it's good because we show engage, I think, that's how her style is. But I'm just like, I think what's so dangerous about her is just to be kind of like overwhelmed with her punch power and the volume. She's like 10 punches, and then pa 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 pa, and fast. And I've never really fought someone who's engaged and with that pressure as a striker like that, high kicks, kicks to the head, it's a little bit harder
Yeah.
to catch kicks that are to my head,
Right.
So yeah, it's like definitely for me, it's the next step on my striking, like this is a good test for me with my striking. Of course, I don't want to stay striking with her because
Right.
she's striking
Right.
her whole life. I definitely see the ways to take down, especially after seeing her fight with Kali Spiza. But yeah, I think that's what's so dangerous about her is like her volume, her power, her technique, and the fact that she does go forward. And I think she'll want to put it on me.
Yeah. Mackenzie, do you feel like though that because someone might say, hey, this is Mackenzie's weakness, if you can go and beat somebody who, does something, is a great striker, doesn't that make your case that, hey, you are a well-rounded fighter and you can beat anybody and you very well deserve a title shot?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I definitely, and that's why I think this fight came at such a good moment in my career because I feel like from my last fight with Tisha Torres, I had 6 months. I've been 6 months training. I didn't know I was gonna fight Jan. I was kind of just prepared to fight. I was waiting to see who would accept, if Rose would fight, if Carla and Willie would really have a fight, or if there would be like maybe an interim belt coming in, or something I could sneak in there. I was kind of just waiting who's gonna accept. So I was training, 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 and this 6 months of hard training I evolved so much my striking and just kind of really found my own range and found my own, understanding the striking at a totally different level that I have in the past. So this fight is coming at a perfect timing for me. I think I'm really at a good moment with my striking with Coach Perillo. He's helping me so much. So yeah, I think that if I can show like, okay, I'm at my own range with the striker.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm not uncomfortable. I'm setting things up. I think that definitely shows like, okay, I'm to a point now where I'm all well-rounded.
Yes.
I can fight, whoever they throw. I think a former champion is a good option next if I get a dominant performance, because I never fought a former champion before. So I don't know if it's Jessica Andrade or Rose or maybe the lose of Carla and Zhang Wei Li.
Right.
But I think if I can beat a former champion after this one, then for the belt next.
And get the title shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
And
that's like good.
yeah, no, I get what you're saying. We've seen, Mackenzie, what Jason has done. I mean, what a coach. I mean, that's got to be freaking scary for the other women in the division. If your stand up and your ground is, I mean, you could be absolutely dominant, right?
Yeah,
This is yeah,
yeah. No, 100%. That's like something that I'm starting to. I didn't understand that before. I didn't
yeah,
realize. I guess like how dangerous of a fighter I could be. Because
yeah,
I mean, jiu-jitsu, we're the gentle art. So
yeah,
for me, I always thought like, okay, I'm just learning my striking to help my jiu-jitsu. And today I'm still, of course, I don't want to. I want to always do like the best strategy, and I think
yeah.
always the best strategy will be take to the ground. Because it's hard to
Right,
compare. But now I realize like, hey, if I can't, man, I'm gonna have the striking to land with to steal the rounds or even knock
right.
out any of the top girls, and that's kind of like where I see, okay, Rose, I don't know what Rose's background was, but I mean, I think we have the same age, like 29,
Yeah,
and she just evolved, so like she grew as a fighter through her whole MMA career, UFC career, and she's good at everything, striking, her grappling, takedowns, everything. I'm like, man, I can do that too,
yeah,
even though I have a jiu-jitsu background. I think that helps me put me to another level, the jiu-jitsu background. But man, if Rose can do it, all these girls can get well-rounded, I can too, and that's what Perillo, it's like, man, I'm so glad I'm underneath his wing now. It's like
yeah.
Bisping, Tito Ortiz, BJ Penn, Chris Cyborg, Luke Cheeto. It's just the best of the best,
You
so
good.
it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad company at all. Uh, how are you doing as far as being on pace to make weight and all that? How is that going? I mean, you look strong, you look lean and all that. Like
Yes.
body's looking great.
Yeah. No, I'm 122 right now, so we're good on weight,
Yeah.
My biggest thing, like from even from before the pregnancy, after the pregnancy, was like I lost a lot of fat and muscle, so I've been trying so much to gain muscle mass. And I was able to get like 5 pounds of muscle
Wow.
in like 2 months, so that's really good. Usually they
Yeah.
get like 1 pound of muscle in almost a year.
Wow, that's a lot
Like
to
two
add that
months,
quick.
six
Yeah.
months. So I'm really, really happy about that, because I mean, I'm learning now. I act like I know what I'm talking about, but I'm learning now that like the more muscle, the more water you take. Like muscle is water, and then that's easier to lose.
Easier to
So
actually lose weight.
yeah, yeah. So I'm like, okay, that's my goal. I want to be able to fight on fight night heavier. I don't want to be like
Yes.
so light. When I fought Marina, I weighed in at 114 and I was fighting at 116, and
No
the
way.
girl in our division is 115, so it's like, man,
Wow.
I wanted to be like 123, at least in the 20s, that's too light, so I mean, I was lean, that was
Right.
cool,
Now you
but
know though, with the more muscle, you'll
yes,
rehydrate. Wow.
yeah, explosive, that's the goal. It's like I want to be as well rounded as I can,
Yeah.
professional, like physical wise, mentally, technically, so I think to be the champion, I'm getting there. I'm not at the champ yet, but I'm getting there. All the pieces to the
Yeah.
puzzle.
I mean, if you think about it, Mackenzie, you're still new to the sport, really. It's
Yeah.
you haven't really been doing this that long, right? Let
Yeah,
me
I mean, like from 5 years, and then 1 year is pregnant, so when you think
right,
about it, it's like, man, I was
right,
able to get a lot of fights in, but in a short amount of time, so it's cool. It's good to be learning on the spot, and the fans to be involved in that and see my progress.
right. Meanwhile, you're ranked in the top 5 of the UFC, so it's incredible. I'll get you out of here on this. You're killing it in the octagon. Your social media stuff is on fire. You post like I'm looking on the internet. Mackenzie Dern in a bikini. You have become
Ah,
a social media superstar online. Uh, are you aware of that? That you're like you post
no.
pictures and they get posted on newspapers and on websites across the world.
No, my world is like just the Instagram, So I'm not even aware of like the more it's getting reposted or not,
Yeah,
For me, I'm just like I'm trying to show what my routine is, My last one I think I did was like me taking like with my hose in my backyard, and I train at the gym with like Perillo, Luke, and Cheetah,
right.
So they're always giving me a hard time, And I'm like, and they say like, oh, a thirst trap. I don't even know what a thirst trap is, And I'm like, I told my mom, I said, Mom, I'm just trying to show like my routine. I thought that's what the fans like is like, oh, my dogs, my daughter, what I do my rest time, So I'm not even thinking like
I think the fans like it.
yeah.
I think you're right.
So I'm like I'm learning. I'm learning this whole like marketing thing.